right. Well, yeah, thanks for making time to come and chat and hear more about what we're planning. I don't know if I'm assuming all of you that are here know each other, but there may be people that weren't able to attend that you may not know. So I thought we could just start off by quickly introducing ourselves, maybe how long you've been with Wisdo, and anything else you want to share. So yeah, I'll introduce myself first for anybody I haven't met. My name is Lorraine, and I've recently joined the Wisdo team as a community manager. And yeah, I will tell you more about what I will be focusing on. But let's go around and introduce ourselves, if that's okay. Warren, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I've been on Wisdo almost 2 years. I came here to get help myself, but then I soon realised helping other people helps me. So quickly became a helper and then a guide. So yeah.
Alison?
So I've been here for, I guess, almost 2 years, not quite. So I joined because I was referred by Crisis Text Line, so I thought I would try it out because I was dealing with depression and stuff. So kind of like Warren, it kind of helps me to help others. So.
Jane, do you want to go next? Jane, do you wanna just introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jane. I've been on Wisdo for about 1.5 years, and I'm a lead helper. Thank you.
Okay, so I've been on Wisdo about 2 years, literally this month. I was a helper within a year and then a guide, I think the start of this year, possibly. I came on because I lost my dad 2 years ago, and then 6 months later, my cat. I thought it would help me, and then obviously trying to help other people, and it helps you, and like you say, so it's been good to experience it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you a bit now. Yeah.
All right, there you go. Lars, do you want to go next? Can anybody else hear, or is that just me? I think we lost you there.
Is that better?
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, I can hear you now. See you.
You can hear me? Awesome. So I've been here just over a year, guide since last year. And like everyone else, I came because I was struggling with my own problems, but then really enjoyed helping others, and it sort of helped me too. So similar stuff.
Jack?
Hi, it's Jack here. I've been in Wisdo for almost 2 years, and I came in the first place because I was feeling lonely. And in time, I realized that helping others also helped me, so I stayed.
Awesome. Hold on, let me just fix this. There we go. I think that's better. Yeah, so thanks for introducing yourselves. I know I've met some of you and some of you I haven't yet, so it's really great to kind of put some faces to some names. There are quite a few other people that just because of time zones or other commitments weren't able to make it today. So we'll share this with them, and hopefully at another time we'll get an opportunity to kind of meet each other and learn more about each other. So I guess I wanted to start by just talking a little bit more about why we're here and what we're trying to achieve. So in the next couple weeks, Wisdo will be welcoming some members of the community that are slightly older than what we have experienced so far. So people that are 65 and over. And the aim is to really try and be a resource for people and share our community with people that are struggling right now with loneliness, given, you know, all the things that have been happening in the world. This kind of population or group of people have really found it hard for many different reasons. So we're trying to find a way to kind of bridge the technology gap, and there's a whole bunch of things that are happening in the background. But on our side, we have a list of communities that we will be focusing on, trying to build for this group specifically. So we will be opening a few new communities to serve, you know, topics that they may be interested in or struggling with. And basically what we're looking for is a group of passionate people that love Wisdo and love the concept and mission of what we do, to help us get these communities buzzing and make sure that when these people do join our community, they're met with a welcoming presence, people who are kind and can kind of, you know, walk them through some of the difficulties they may have in terms of where to find things, or even just be a friendly face to perhaps, you know, help them get over the first feeling of anxiousness about posting or anything like that. So high level, that's what we're looking for. We kind of more practically, logistically, we would really like to kind of assign certain people certain communities. So we would basically share the list of communities. I know that it was in the form you filled out, so you can see that was the list of communities that they will have access to all the communities, but those are the ones that we, you know, after speaking with some experts, assume that they will be most interested in. So these are the ones we'll be focusing on first, and hopefully some of the things we set up here will be able to expand to the greater Wisdo community, and we can really bump up, you know, people engaging and different kinds of events and posts and things like that. So practically we would share a list of communities, and you could choose either one community or two communities, whatever you feel you have time for. And the role you would really play in those communities is just making sure that when somebody posts something, that they have someone respond to them. I don't know if some of you have maybe noticed, but at certain times of the day, we have people who post and nobody's really around, and then it kind of, it doesn't encourage them to come back and open up again. So the main thing is everybody would get a response. That's what we're hoping for. And just to spread some love and support. The next part of it is we'd really like to bring actual sort of like programming and activities that we can do together as a group. So that may be something fun, like a music quiz, like a kind of guess the song. It may be trivia. It may be a sort of peer support group. It may be, you know, like a peer-led support group where we all just jump on Zoom and we have a topic and kind of support each other through struggles relating to that. You know, these are just some random ideas that I'm coming up with, but sort of like very structured activities that we can do together. So you would kind of be the eyes and ears of that specific community. We are bringing in some people that will kind of like support each community. So a person per community that will kind of brainstorm with you and come up with ideas and may host events. But you will be there to kind of like give them any feedback, anything you see in the community, any ideas you have, and they will be your kind of go-to person. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea. I know that was a lot. So I'll answer any questions you have. So maybe we can start with that. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Just a question on the group activities you were talking about, maybe the fun activities like quizzes and things. Do you see those being held at a set time, like a live stream, like the live coaches or mentors we have at the moment, something like that, to the session? Or will it be in one of the actual community groups that you're listing for them in one of the main communities? And would you then want someone to lead that sort of activity? So if you're talking about trivia quiz, do you want one of us to try and lead that with some questions and things?
So the answer is yes and no. I think the plan is to have different kinds of activities that people could participate in, whatever they're comfortable with, especially bringing in, you know, an older population. Many of them feel more comfortable on Zoom, for example, than trying to text their answers or things like that. So I think we want a variety of programming. I think we would really love to set up, and this is what the kind of point of contact for each community would do. They would set up a weekly schedule for events that happen. There may be offline things as well that people can participate in. I know we've done a lot of cool stuff already, where you may post like an icebreaker and anybody who comes in at any time can respond. So I love that, and I think we should definitely keep that. This is kind of just like a new opportunity for people to really connect and build more of a relationship. So yeah, the answer is yes and no. You can host those events. There's no expectation that you have to. Yeah, you would just be expected to show some love and support more than, you know, to this specific community as you do right now, just with more of a focus. So you're welcome to get as involved as you like, or kind of just share your ideas.
So will you assign a guide to one of the rooms and then we just kind of monitor it and like be in charge of it, like you said? Am I hearing that correctly?
So not exactly. We're starting an internship program where we will bring people in that are sort of studying related fields or that are interested in WISDO, people that have been on WISDO, people, you know, and they will take a community, and really their role will be just bringing together all your ideas. So the hope is that we have at least 2 or 3 people in each community on the, what did we call it, the 65 plus sort of special helpers team. So the hope is that we have 2 or 3 of us in each of those communities, and that person will really just be there to support you, to check in, to make sure that your ideas are followed through and brought to the places they need to be brought. And then also to do things, you know, perhaps some of you don't want to host a Zoom event, they can then host those groups. They will kind of just be a center to like the brainstorming and the admin side of things. And then the people in this team, which will be helpers, some guides, you know, a mixture of different roles in the community. We will be in those communities posting content, answering questions, making sure that when people post something, we just leave something kind, and things like that. Does that answer your question?
I think so. Well, once we get started, I'll probably have a better feel of how it's gonna go.
Yeah, I think so.
I think some of it, Alison, is just what we're already doing in the communities. And some of the communities that the 65 plus group will be coming to already exist, like anxiety and depression. So we're already active in those groups already. We're already moderating those groups. So I think Lorraine's saying there'll be additional groups as well that we need to really have make sure we're active in as well. Try and be active in some of these newer groups as well, and active in just moderating and saying hello to people when they join and helping them out if they've got any questions. Exactly.
And I think the additionally, these people that we'll be bringing in for each specific community, I think it'll be really helpful for them to have a few people in the community they can go to perhaps run ideas by. or people they can really just depend on in the community, and that's another side to this. So if you, for example, decide that you really like increasing happiness, the person that we put in that community can then come to you and say, hey, I thought about running an event like this. What do you think? You know this community better than I do. How do you think this would go? So there'll be a lot of those kinds of questions as well. Yeah, does anybody else have any other questions? No? Right. So, and if you have any other questions later, or anybody watching the video has any questions, just feel free to email me, and I'll respond as soon as I can. The second part of this is really, we have different sides to our community. So we have the communities that everybody joins, more of like a sort of group environment. And then we have the instant chat where people will request to speak with somebody one-on-one. So our guess is that a lot of the people we will be bringing in will be open to helping others, just because that is a common thread of people who, maybe they've retired, they have time, they're looking for volunteer opportunities, they have a lot of life experience to share, and they like sharing those things. So our understanding is that a good portion of these people will want to become helpers, which I think is great. And then that can sort of serve the new people who join. But initially, obviously, these people coming in will not be helpers. And we really want to make sure that when they hit that instant chat button, we know that they're connected with somebody who can really be a positive presence for them. So the other ask is that if you are open to being, I guess, I'm not sure what we would call it, but I guess the special helpers for this group, what would happen is you would receive a notification and it would say that someone from that group has requested a chat. It'll be a special push notification, different to the ones we get now, just with, indicating that it comes from this group. And we would get that notification along with the people from the internship we're bringing and the admin staff. And yeah, so the next part is that something you all would be open to doing? And do you have any questions about that?
No, I'd be happy to do that.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd do the other one. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, definitely. Will there be any indication in the communities that it's that which users are from this from this group, or only in chat?
Yeah, so no, community facing, there will be users just like everybody else. The part that will kind of help us figure that out is that you'll see a lot of the communities on that list are like designing a perfect retirement, or things where you'll know if they came from there. There are groups like increasing happiness or anxiety, or reducing stress, I think, is on the list as well. And I think our idea is that this doesn't just serve this group. Our idea is that this serves the greater Wisdo community. We're focusing on these groups first because we think it's important that when we do have these people join, that things run smoothly for them. However, I don't think our plan is to stop there. This is a starting point, and I think eventually we'd really like to expand to all our communities. So we'll be able to see that when we get an instant chat request, and we'll know that depending on certain communities they join, but you won't be able to see the difference between them in, for example, increasing happiness. Yeah, just to kind of, yeah. Anything else?
And that's fine, because really we should be treating all users in the same way. We should be greeting and helping every user in exactly the same way. We shouldn't be favoriting certain groups. So I think that's right.
Exactly. So I guess like exactly that. I 100% agree. And I think what we've been doing on Wisdo up until now I have been incredibly impressed. I think we have an amazing group of people who really care, and I think it's really just leveraging that. So I kind of see this as a stepping stone to test out what works and what doesn't. And if things really work and we see that things go well, we can then expand and kind of bring in the rest of the community. So yeah, think of it really like a pilot, or you know, just a test to see what happens. Yeah, does anyone have any questions or even any feedback for what I've been talking about? Any concerns or ideas, anything at all?
Not that I can think of. I'll
No?
send you a message if I do.
I have a question, maybe. I know months ago, everyone used to sort of fall right into the ambassador group when they joined, and I don't think they're doing that anymore. So that was the first place they landed. So it would be kind of interesting if they landed into sort of that welcome senior group, and that way we could greet them in that one group, and then they would wander around Wisdo after that. But if they landed in one place, we could be very welcoming into that community. It's just an idea, I guess.
100%. That was I think one of my first questions when I joined Wisdo was, can we have like a sort of like welcome group where everybody joins? I think the feedback there was that it was like that, and I think that may have been the Wisdo ambassador group. I may be mistaken, I wasn't here. But the amount of people that join that group kind of makes it it's not really user friendly. So what we are doing is we are creating a Wisdo home community specifically for this group of people. So we can then make sure that this group gets added to that. And I think, yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. Obviously, we're not going to have the same amount of people join as we may have in the ambassador group. I think, you know, we may see a few thousand people, not the size of the Wisdo community. So it may be a lot easier to manage. We'll also be using that group to send updates specifically for them. You know, we're bringing on new coaches that sort of highlight topics that they would be interested in or need as well. So we'll be using that group to send updates and newsletters, whereas the greater Wisdo community will also be getting that content. Newsletters will be sent to them as well. The content would just be a little bit more targeted and specific to their needs. But that is the plan. So I will definitely make sure that we are all added to that. I think it's a great idea, and it was my first question too. Cool. Great. So I think basically the next step from here is, you know, now that you've heard more about the project, more about sort of the expectations, I'll write up some notes after this in an email where I share the video, just sort of clearly, you know, laying out what we need and what we can do for you, just pretty much all of it. And then, yeah, just respond to me if this is something that you are interested in, and you feel now that you've heard more about it, you know, if it's not something you're into, that's totally okay. Just let me know. And then early next week, I will connect with you all again. I think it would be a good idea to have a Slack channel perhaps that we can all connect on, seeing as though we will be adding, I believe 20, I think there's 20 people to oversee each of these communities. I think it'll be a great place for all of us to kind of connect, share resources, stay updated. So we'll set that up next week, and then we can start kind of figuring out what communities you'd like to focus on, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, that's about it. Anything else from anybody? No. All right. Well, awesome. Thanks for coming. What was that?
That's okay.
I said thank you for the update. Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for coming. I really appreciate all the support. I know this is like everything's new and we're kind of, you know, a bit all over the place, but I'm super excited, and I think we can really sort of take this to the next step. Yeah. So thanks for coming, and if you need me, let me know. Otherwise, I'll chat to you soon.